Alright guys, so today I want to talk about my new MAME cab. I picked it up for $85 off of Craigslist. Really nice guy and everything, really cool seller. He had a bunch of really nice arcade classics of his own, and so he didn't really need this. He bought it for cheap and wanted to, restore it and everything, but he just decided that it wasn't worth his time ultimately, so I got it for $85. When I got it, it was pretty much completely empty. It looks a lot like how it is now, but it was completely empty. It didn't have it had a horizontal bezel, and it had tinted plexiglass, which I wasn't really a fan of because it just made the colors on the screen look weird. So anyhow, my ultimate plan is to restore this into what it originally was, which was a Century Phoenix. And Century Phoenix, Phoenix is an awesome game. I've always really liked Phoenix. But what I'm going to do ultimately is I'm going to have all the original parts, the board and everything, but I'm also going to still keep MAME running in it probably. Definitely for now, MAME will be running in it. Either way, if we dive on in here, we got a really craptastic marquee somebody made. But it used to say Myers. I tried to fill it in a little bit with some paint marker, and obviously it still shows up. But I don't know if Myers was somebody's name. It makes me think of the store Fred Myers, which we don't have around here. But yeah, there's no apostrophe, so I don't know if it's like it's somebody's first name, somebody's last name, kind of weird. That will be replaced. It is just the temporary. So the plexiglass I got cut at this place called Fort Collins Plastics, and it was super duper cheap. It was only like 11 bucks, and they cut it for me in about 2 minutes. The bezel, I was trying to find an authentic Century Phoenix bezel, but like I had no luck, and so I went to Hobby Lobby, and it's actually made out of photo mat. So they wanted like 20 bucks for it. After the 40% off coupon or whatever, it came to like 11 bucks or so. So not too bad. I really wanted it more top center, but she just kind of centered it, which is okay. I just gotta tilt my head down slightly more. Or when I'm sitting down on my stool here, it looks phenomenal, so no complaints there. The monitor I picked up at a thrift store for $8, and you know what I like about it is that it's the old school 19-inch. You know what I mean? Like it's the 4:3 aspect ratio. It's not widescreen, that is. And it looks great in the vertical position. Phoenix originally had a monitor in the vertical position, so obviously that's what I was going for. And of course I really love games like Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, stuff like that. So a lot of vertical shooters and stuff. Anyhow, with the control panel, it's obviously not an authentic or an original Phoenix control panel. It actually came pretty much just like this, with the exception of no buttons and no joysticks, and plus these were the original holes in there, but that's only like part of like the original like Hap kind of style screws, screw layout or whatever. So I had the outer ones drilled in for me. I've built shelves and drilled with wood plenty, and I know plenty about drilling with wood with the pilot holes and all that kind of stuff. But I knew absolutely nothing about working with drilling into metal, and so I killed a couple bits, and it was awful. Like I did a bunch of Google searches, and I asked some people and everything, and they're all just kind of like, take it slow. And I thought what that meant was take your time with it, not make the drill go slow so it like catches the metal more. and so I just completely roasted a bit, and I didn't try to cool the bit down or anything, as I cold vault bit a couple of them actually, and yeah, it was pretty bad. But I took it over to a metal fabricator, and for a 20 spot, he was able to drill my new holes. So that's cool. And these Wicco sticks are actually amazing. These are the authentic Wicco sticks. I got these from Tony Johnson, which you might recall from past videos. I went and checked out his old basement arcade, which I don't think he has anymore, but he's actually going to be opening a real arcade, or like a retail arcade or whatever. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, and that's really awesome of you to hook me up with these sticks. I actually ordered some sticks off of a place called GroovyGameGear.com, and I didn't realize that they didn't have the standard HAP screw layout. There are like 60 millimeter controllers and joysticks, and so those didn't work for me. They're too small. But you know, Tony made me a really smoking good deal in a trade, so it totally worked out. Down here we got the original coin door, and it looks really good. The paint down here actually looks really good, nice and shiny. I thought that was kind of cool. There's an Atari coin slot on there. It probably won't focus, but I thought that was kind of cool, and I think that one's an original there, an original Centuri one. I could be wrong. The coin slots seem to be functional, but I have not hooked them up. There's my counter down there. If you can, now it won't focus. It's too dark. But I actually have these wires. They were kind of like that when I got the cabinet, and then I had to fix them up. This one needs resoldered again, but yeah, these wires actually go directly to the bulb contacts, so both bulbs work, which is cool. You know, I could probably hook them up to like a 5-volt supply and get away with it, but I'm gonna wait until I have a good supply to work with and everything. You know, good switching power supply or something, or even like an LED whiz or something. Inside there I got a little tiny amp, and it's only like 20 watts, 15 watts, or whatever it is, but it does the job. It has bass, treble, volume controls, power switch, so it, you know, and down here in the coin door, it's easy access, and I got a mouse down there to work with, and it also works with MAME. And I got this, like, I had a USB cord up here, so I can easily hook up a keyboard or memory stick or whatever else. So in the back here, I have my Dell monitor mounted with this stand. I got the stand on eBay for like 20 bucks shipped, and I gotta say, it actually does a pretty damn good job. It doesn't look like much, but it gets the job done really well, actually. I think it's made by Castaway. And then I got a couple bars here, like tensioner bars or tensioning bars or tightening bars or whatever the hell they're called. They're kind of like curtain rods or whatever. I picked up a couple of those at Wally World for a couple bucks each, and those just kind of keep it tighter in there, less wiggly, and it gets it closer to the bezel. I just have to be careful though, because sometimes I get it too close to the bezel, and then the power switch is on the front, so it turns off the monitor. But that that happened once. So up there, I just got a couple speakers just crudely sat up there, and I just put a little bit of duct tape just to get them in place. I do plan to get a real speaker. I think it's a 5-inch speaker or something, but yeah, that's down the road. I think the key word for this whole setup is functional. It's functional. It's not pretty yet. Down here I got a compact tower PC. It's nothing special. It's like I think it's like a 2.5 gigahertz dual core processor, has 4 gigs of memory, 1 gig graphics card. It's not a super duper high power computer, but it's running Windows 10 64-bit, and I do plan to upgrade the RAM and the video card one day maybe. And then there's just a 6-pack that allows power. Also included on the inside is the original card. Apparently this was cabinet number 56 off the line, which, you know, makes it a low number cabinet, really, and so that's pretty awesome. Now, when we look at the sides, the first thing that's highly apparent to me is that somebody used a brush to paint this, and you know, it's from a distance it's not too bad, but if you get closer you can start to see all the brush marks and everything. And honestly, guys, don't use brushes to paint cabinets. It looks so completely ghetto. Like, that's for posers, man. Don't do that. Anyhow, like, I don't have like a paint sprayer or, you know, like a spraying kind of area or anything like that. I can't afford that, and I don't have space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll some paint onto it. Probably do like a primer coat, rough it up, do a coat of paint, and then, you know, rough that up, do another coat of paint, rough that up, and then on a third layer, you know, leave it. And I'm going to make sure that the paint is thinner so it doesn't kind of like roll or peel back over time, because I do plan to completely restore this, and I want to get the I'll just get reproduction parts for the most part, reproduction marquee, reproduction side art, reproduction control panel overlay, and that's good enough for me. I don't need it to be new old stock or anything like that. So my friend Zyla was over the other day, and she actually has a really nice Phoenix, and she was able to quickly point out that this is not the right T-molding for the cabinet. It's supposed to be an offset T-molding that the Centuri cabs used. This is just basic T-molding that somebody slapped on there. So I do want to get the correct T-molding for this. However, the one site that I've been directed to that I could find that carries it, I read some forums, and I guess a bunch of people got hosed by them. And so yeah, I don't really want to drop $100 on T-molding if it's not gonna fit, so the search continues. A little side note, a lot of my buttons on my control panel actually came out of this X-Arcade stick, and I gotta say, I've heard various opinions on those things, but I think that they're pieces of crap. The buttons aren't the worst that I've ever felt, but really, they would kick more ass if they had actual cherry switches on them. And the joysticks are the major downfall of that thing. They grind, and they feel cheap, and they go super duper loose over time. Look at that. I mean, come on. It's garbage. Anyhow, without any further ado, let's play some games. Now, I'm going to actually start it up with the mouse, but normally I just leave the interface going. When it comes to interfaces, I really like the Maximus Arcade interface. I mean, I know that there's other ones like Hyperspin and Launchbox and stuff like that, and I've tried them all, and they all are decent. They're pretty much all good, but I just prefer this one because of the simplicity. You manually input all the paths, the ROM paths, the marquee paths, and you can put themes. You can customize the themes and everything. This one's called the Hyperspace theme, and I like it. Right now I just have Bubble Bobble going just because, I don't want any copyright issues, but usually I actually have a bunch of music on here, and I'm just going to turn this down so I can hear myself think. I have a bunch of music on here that plays at random, all of which I found to be kind of arcadey, like Final Countdown and You're the Best Around, blah, 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 blah. You know that song? Yeah. Like Karate Kid shit or whatever. Yeah, Pac-Man Fever and all that kind of stuff. Do the Donkey Kong. Anyhow, so right now, all I have installed is MAME, Atari 2600, and Sega Genesis. Complete ROM set. Complete ROM set. And complete ROM set. Right now, I'm using 0.186, which at the time of making this video is the most current version. And I really like this. Venom's up here, like, it looks like he's headbanging to the Bubble Bobble theme. Yeah, get it, killing it. Anyhow, you can toggle between the games and your favorites. You know, like I said, it is a complete ROM set, so I don't even know how many ROMs that is. Over 34,000 easy. I don't know how many original games that comes up to or whatever, but it's a lot. I mean, pretty much everything that you're gonna want is here. But if we go to favorites, we'll just go to Miss Pac-Man, which of course is... Actually, let's do this one, because it's two of my favorite games in one. And I still need to configure some things. I definitely wanted to skip that info. I just keep forgetting to check that option. I have some pretty thick scan lines enabled. If the camera ever focuses, you'll see them scan lines, bro. Scan lines. There they are. You see them. It's like I got an expensive original monitor, right? No, it's not. Anyhow, my camera would focus again. There we go. But yeah, it plays really well. The sound gets really loud, and it feels really good. I mean, with those authentic Wiccos and everything, how couldn't it, right? Anyhow, that's about it for now. I hope to do an update video one day where this thing is completely restored. So, I'll probably do, you know, I'm just going to leave that control panel in it for now, and I'll still put a Phoenix control panel overlay on it. But I do want the authentic, original control panel, as well as, you know, if I, like I said earlier, reproduction parts are fine by me, so, you know, put a reproduction control panel overlay on it and stuff, and one day this cabinet will be restored and it will be awesome.